What's up, sports card collectors, wrestling card enthusiasts, and general hobbyists? It's Tom from CollectAWrestlePalooza here. I'm doing a mailbag video today. I'm really excited. I've got a huge haul. This is the biggest box that has ever landed on my doorstep, filled with wrestling memorabilia, and it is VHS. Guess what? I bought more VHS tapes. I feel really strongly about VHS as a category, particularly right now in the hobby. Folks that listen to my channel or heard my interview with Zan Morning on Wrestling with Cards know that one thing I think about when I'm buying is intrinsic value, and particularly in this market. Now, most of my collection is wrestling cards. Don't get me wrong, I will always love wrestling cards. I've got a nice collection, love them, will always buy and sell more. That's not going anywhere. But if this thing collapses, let's think about what objects are going to hold their value. And in my opinion, there's something very different about collecting cards and collecting VHS or action figures or things of that nature. Because VHS has intrinsic value. You can play it. These objects were not sold to be collected. They were sold to be played and enjoyed and watched. And they still have that function within the object. They're big, robust, awesome wrestling things that can do something for you. A card is a small little piece of cardboard that is really about its scarcity and collectability, and that's where it has value. It doesn't have as much value beyond that because it's just a piece of cardboard. So, like I said, don't get me wrong, I love wrestling cards. I'll always support wrestling cards as a collectible. I think they're awesome. I think they tell a great story. They hold a lot of nostalgia. People collect them for a number of reasons, which is great, which is why I love the community. But consider VHS and action figures in your collection, particularly right now. That's my advice. Again, I'm not a professional. I would never tell anyone to do anything that doesn't work for them. But something that I'm doing is diversifying my collection with VHS and action figures because they hold intrinsic value. When these objects were put out into the marketplace, there was no sense of collectability in them. So the story they hold as a collectible is about people going back now and refinding that nostalgia. And I think that that's kind of cool, but also you can play them. Something I haven't done yet, but I do have my basement set up that I'm gonna start to look for a VCR. I have an old VCR that I've owned since I was in college. I'm going to set that up. If I have to buy a new VCR, that's fine, but I'm going to start playing my tapes too. Anyway, enough about the backstory. This is the box. I'm going to open it up. I know what's in here. It's a bunch of VHS from one seller. It has some rare tapes in here, or at least rare enough. I don't know what the condition is. It's really hard to tell by the pictures, so I'm excited to see what that looks like, and come along for the journey with me. Thank you.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.
So let's get into the box and see what we have here. One thing to look for on VHS is the cover art. Anything with Hulk Hogan, of course. You know, as years go on, there's going to be nostalgia for Hulkamania, him ripping off his shirt, folk legends of Hulk Hogan and Wrestlemania and all of that stuff, I feel like, is encapsulated in these VHSs, where you can actually put the tape in a VCR and watch him do the things that it's showing on the front of the tape. So, I mean, how much do you want to see what that's all about? Hulk Hogan's greatest matches. The legend ripping off his shirt with the big winged eagle belt. It'd be awesome if you were in the crowd there in that shot. In the back of the tape here, it says Hulk Hogan's greatest matches. This is a Coliseum release. It's not sealed, but the slipcase is actually not too bad looking at it. This is WS911. On the back here, you see Hogan pounding away. It looks like maybe on Hacksaw, maybe on Earthquake. It's hard to tell from that shot, but hacking away on one, oh, that's Earthquake. I can see the tattoo there on his arm. Feel the power of Hulkamania, an exciting, heart-stopping collection of the Hulkster's greatest matches. So if he's hitting Earthquake and then Sergeant Slaughter there, probably as a heel, then this must be not super early. Yeah, copyright 1992. So this is a early 90s tape. I like to find the ones pre-1990. I feel like that cutoff has some relevance. I don't know exactly why, but 1980s VHSs are more attractive to me. But regardless, awesome Coliseum tape from Hulkamania. WWF champion Hulk Hogan, as always. He is the true champion. This was one I was excited about. Not sealed, but WWF Survivor Series. I mean, look at that. WWF World Heavyweight Champion Hulk Hogan, of course, with Paul Orndorff, Don the Rock Morocco. We've got Bam Bam Bigelow. We've got Ken Patera on the team. Advertising here, plus a second Survivor match. Honky Tonk Man's team versus Randy Savage's team. Tag Team Survivor match, which includes a total of 20 men, and a women's Survivor match. Another Coliseum Home video. This one is WF 049, so earlier on. And then look at the back of this tape. Look at Andre's team. Andre, Ravishing Rick Rude, King Kong Bundy, One Man Gang, and the Natural Butch Reed. Now, if wrestling was a shoot, how could you ever defeat that team of 5 behemoths? That's awesome. And this tape is from, well, MCM LXXXVIII, doing some quick Roman numeral translation. That sounds like 1988. Early Survivor Series. This might even be the inaugural Survivor Series. Tell me if you know in the comments, but pretty good condition for a cassette and a slipcase, even though it's not sealed. I love it. Another early just Hulk Hogan collection tape. This is from the WWF Collectors Series, Hulk Hogan Real American. 60 action-packed minutes. This is WS901. Slipcase is not in great shape. There is some impressions here, and overall it's faded, and but no huge creases on it. Does have some rubbing here. Not in as good condition as the other two, but still fine. And this is from, let's see, MLXXXIX. That's probably 1989. So again, pre-1990, love that. Great shot of Hulk Hogan pumping some iron. You can see his veins flexing here, amount of blood going up to his head there through those veins. Those are major highways. Those are not just side roads of arteries. Bodybuilder physique. No steroids, of course, just vitamins and supplements. We all know that because he's the American hero. And you can see on the back, great shot of him pounding his fist into Ted DiBiase's head and saluting the American flag. Awesome tape. Now, this was one of the sealed ones, and excited to hold it in my hands. Hulkamania 6. Condition is a little bit rough, but I mean, this is the big box edition of Coliseum videos. Almost impossible to find the big box tapes in great shape because this side part here didn't have anything in it. It's just air. So they did that to make the case look bigger, which is awesome. It's a great shot on the front. I mean, look at how different that feels than the smaller slipcase. Just the big Hulk Hogan Hulkamania 6 versus the, small shot in the Real American Hero one there. Again, holding the American flag, very patriotic, an American superhero advertised on front. Awesome, awesome cassette. Same image on the back there of him versus Sergeant Slaughter. That's interesting. Another image of him. Oh, this must be when he was really battling Slaughter, because 3 or 4 of these shots show him in his battle fatigues going against Mustafa and Slaughter there. And then on the top, him doing the famous pose. Again, look at that artery in his arm. That thing is huge. Shot exclusively for Coliseum Video. An afternoon with Hulk Hogan and his buddies on this tape. And then also, doesn't show what matches exactly, but it says fearsome opponents such as Sergeant Slaughter, General Adnan, The Undertaker, and more. Hogan versus Undertaker. And then a nice shot of him there with a bunch of kids. Early superhero for all the children. Love it. Another Hulk Hogan tape. Hulk Still Rules. That's obviously a riff on Hulk Hogan and Hulk Rules. Earlier cassette. This one is a WWF release. It's not a Coliseum release, so would not be as sought after, but sealed. Great. It's got a shot of him with Andre, with The Rock, early shot of him with some very odd looking chest hair. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but very, very odd looking. Or maybe he was spray tanning and missed a few shots. Let's see here. Holding up his belt, cool tape, not much more to say about that. And this tape here was the reason I bought the lot. The seller said there were 4 sealed tapes in the lot. This one is not sealed. It was hard to tell from the pictures, but you know, the bottom is open, but you can tell it does have its original slip plastic on it, and this is the original Royal Rumble. So I just think this is an iconic cassette with Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, and Andre the Giant on the front. First Royal Rumble, no partners, 30 opponents advertising it. Of course, became a franchise for the WWF. Bad News Brown, Brutus Beefcake, Million Dollar Man, Jake the Snake, Big Boss Man. You know, who's who of early wrestling from the 80s. And then the pose down with Ultimate Warrior against Rick Rude. At that point, any chance they could have to put Warrior on something, he had so much pop in his career at that point. I'm not sure if one of them was injured, so they did a pose down instead of a match, but they had to get Warrior on there somewhere. Special 6-man tag match, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Hart Foundation against Dino Bravo and the Rougeaus. And then a women's title match, Rockin' Robin versus Judy Martin. And this one is from 1988. Again, awesome condition for a Royal Rumble, original cassette. This is also an iconic cassette. Condition is much better than it looked in the pictures. Does have some depressions on the front, but for SummerSlam 89, the photo is not faded. It doesn't have a lot of wear on it. You know, like I said, the cassette does have some creasing, or I should say the slipcover does have some creasing, but overall I'm very happy. This is another Coliseum video, has the Intercontinental title match with Ultimate Warrior again against Ravishing Rick Rude. They were having a run at the time. It has Demolition, King Duggan, Andre the Giant, the Twin Towers, one of my favorite tag teams of all time, Dusty Rhodes, and more sizzling action. Cool shot of Snuka there, trying to relive the early days when he would do a Superfly splash. Almost looks like he jumped off the second rope there. That's an awkward shot. Got Million Dollar Man with his $1 million belt, Rick Rude, and Ultimate Warrior. The other thing I like about this cassette is Zeus. Really interesting character in the WWF. Of course, he gained his fame in No Holds Barred, the movie. And I feel like collectors just go towards, I feel like his real name or his real nickname was Tiny something or other. He made a run in the WCW and then a famous run in the WWF when he was going to crush Hulk Hogan. SummerSlam 89 was one of the early matches of Hogan and Zeus. And then finally here, arguably the greatest WrestleMania ever. This is not the original, this is the re-release on the gray cassette, but it's still sealed and awesome to own. Any, you know, memorial of this event is going to be collectible. WrestleMania 6, Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Challenge. It's a cool shot on the front. Glad to have this in my collection as well. And there you go. Got 7 tapes today. That's my biggest purchase of VHS. And I am, like I said, thrilled to own these cassettes. I feel like they're very collectible. Once I get the VCR going in my basement, I'll play a couple of them, maybe do a watch along or something of that sort. But I don't think I'm going to play them too much because I think that they're all pretty rare, relatively speaking. They're all 1980s or early 1990s, and they're all in pretty good condition and feature Hogan, Andre, Ultimate Warrior, some of the greats of the golden age of WWF. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for supporting my channel. I don't ask for subscriptions and likes anymore in my videos. I feel like that's a given, but please leave a comment. That would mean a lot to me if you tell me what you're thinking, what you like about the video, what you don't like. Give me feedback. Tell me what's up in your collecting hobby. Are you buying VHS? Why? Are you sticking to cards? You know, what are you doing? What are you seeing out there? It's all fun. So have a great week, and thanks again for your support.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.